So if you've ever bought a rental property and you're expecting everything to go smoothly, steady cash flow, tenants are paying, no any drama, no issue, but it end up feeling like a roller coaster for you. 1 month you are up, you're positive cash flow, the next month you are negative, and a repair hits you really hard, tenant moved out, and suddenly you are wondering, am I doing something wrong? Are rental property investing even worth it in today's market? Well, after 7 years of owning and managing rental properties across Houston myself, I currently own over 30 units, and I can tell you that I wish someone would have told me this much earlier when I started my rental property investing journey. And what I wish they would have told me is that your cash flow isn't broken, it's just follow a cycle, because a lot of time we like to think, oh, maybe it doesn't just worth it because we lose money 1 month and the next month we are really happy. So let me show you how to master the rental property monthly cash flow game, so that way you don't have to second guess yourself anymore. As someone that has helped hundreds of families and multiple real estate investors to start and scale their rental portfolio, in today's video, I want to share with you the lessons that I learned the hard way and that took me over 3 years before I fully understand what is true cash flow. So here is the truth about cash flow when it comes to rental property. Cash flow isn't steady because real life do happen. I mean, we're dealing with people, right? People can lose their job, there can be vacancy, there can be a huge repairs that will just drain off your next 2-3 months cash flow. There could be a property tax that just increase on you, insurance costs can hike, among other things that are just beyond your control. Now, you might have a 3 good month back to back, then boom, the next month HVAC fails and now the tenant is going to be breaking their lease, among other issues that you can encounter that you probably are just not expecting to happen to you. And then boom, that your $500 monthly cash flow is now gone to the pit, and you might not recover from it for the next 3 to 4 months. And this is my personal story. I've had a situation where a tenant passed away during the lease term in my property. I did not even realize that she has passed away until the Section 8 rent stopped coming in. I just didn't receive rent in June, July, and I was like, hey, what is going on? I had to call the Section 8 because our number was not going through, and they told me that, hey, she passed away. So again, this is something I could not foresee. I didn't know somebody who passed away, but that happened. Now my unit was vacant for the following 4 months. I had to spend money to clean it, to do a lot of things to make it ready again for tenants. So this is just part of the real estate game that a lot of people are just not talking enough about. And as much as there's a lot of negative things that can happen when you become a rental property owner, it also means that you are running a business, and there is always going to be ups and downs in any business you run. So this is why you have to have contingency in place. And for my property, I've been able to successfully rent it to a new tenant that signed a 3-year lease, and they are happy in my property so far, and I hope that I will never have to go through this experience again. Now, here's the difference between the beginner and the professional real estate investor. The pros always build system and smooth the roller coaster out, because they understand that the roller coaster would definitely happen at some point. It might be tomorrow, it might be next month, it might be next year, it might be 2 years time, but if you continue to invest, the unexpected will happen, and the better you prepare for them, the better you will do when they do happen. And this is why you want to build your cash reserve cushion. First thing I wish I would have done sooner is to set aside a reserve account for every single property I own. I didn't do that until my year 3 of rental property investing. And after my 3rd month of rental property investing, after I've learned my lesson the hard way, I started keeping $5,000 as a reserve per property. Now, if it's a multifamily, I like to keep around 5% every single month away as an emergency fund for the raining day. So when an AC goes out or a roof is leaking, it's not an emergency for me anymore. It's just a system withdrawal from my property reserve account to fix the problem, and we continue, we move on, because I'm thinking about 10-20 years from now what that property will have done for me, or what benefit I will have been able to realize by keeping that property long term and not the short term pain. And this is even a recent story that happened to me in 2022. I had 5 rental properties that need renovation simultaneously in 2 months. Trust me, this was not very easy, and without that reserve, I would have panicked. I might have even lost one of those properties, or I will be in so much debt. But because I put the reserve in place, I was able to tap into those reserves, fix all the units, get it rented. Then I was able to rest for not another 7 months before I had to deal with another repair issue. So as you can see, your reserve protects your portfolio and also your peace of mind, and keep you in the game long term to reap the long-term benefit of rental property investing. If you cannot do all those repairs, cannot keep the property long term, you may eventually lose the property, and you've lost loss overall because you never hold the property long enough to even realize the benefit that real estate has to offer you. The third thing you need to keep in mind is you need to scale for stability. When you own one rental property, every problem really hits you hard because you only have one property. Now, when you own multiple or several properties like duplexes, fourplexes, small apartment complex, one vacancy doesn't sink your ship. It simply means that you can still carry on with other units. Let's say, for example, you own a fourplex. One unit become vacant, you're not going to cry or lose sleep over it. Your three other units are going to help you pay your mortgage while you are working to release the vacant units. And this is why I love new construction duplexes and the small 2 to 10 unit multifamily properties, because it just allows me to put my eggs in multiple baskets. That is multiple rents, one mortgage, one insurance policy, simple, smart, and very, very reputable system I can do every single time I want to expand my portfolio. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that as you grow, your incomes would start evening out. That is, your cash flow becomes more predictable, your tenants' behavior start becoming more predictable, and you have a lot of peace of mind. And that's why you cannot just buy 1 or 2 rental property and you say you are set for life. Unfortunately, that is not realistic. Now, the number 4 things you have to do is to use your job as a leverage, not a crutch. In early years as a rental property investors, your rental income will not even do anything for you. It will not cover your expenses. It will not cover your emergency. And to be honest, you're going to need to put some money out of your pocket to kind of keep your rental property going. But the magic start happening once you get 4 or 5 rental properties, because like I said, your income will start becoming more predictable and it will even out and you will feel less stress as a rental property landlord. And that's why you want to see your 9 to 5 as your partner, your employer as your partner, because they are not your enemy. It is actually your launch pad to becoming a successful rental property investor. You should keep the job, keep doing what you have to do while you are spending time on the side to build your portfolio and eventually buy back your freedom, buy back your time, and buy everything you want to buy because you're able to be patient enough to build a massive rental portfolio. Because you've been patient enough to build a massive rental portfolio that now fits your lifestyle and your desire. Of course, I'm not asking you to work on your job forever, and I'm not asking you to work paycheck to paycheck. What I'm simply telling you is that to be patient enough on your job, because I know there's a lot of gurus that talk about, hey, you can buy 2 rental properties and you can quit your job. Again, it is not realistic. I've been there. I've seen it myself. I quit my job in 2021. Trust me, I didn't quit when I only have 2 rental units. If I've done that, I probably would have gone back to the job. So you're hearing it from somebody that has done it. So please don't let anybody fool you that you can retire just on 2 rental property. It is a mirage. And once you eventually build a rental portfolio that can now sustain your lifestyle, you can choose to continue to work or you can choose not to work anymore. At that time, working is not by force for you, but it's by choice. Now, the 5th thing I wish I would have known earlier is that time actually turn an average rental into a gold. Here is where things actually compound. Let's say that your rent right now is $2,000 and your mortgage is $1,500. Fast forward to 15 years from now, your rent is now $4,000. But guess what? Your mortgage remains at $1,500. That is now $2,500 in cash flow that you're going to be keeping in your pocket simply because you have been patient enough to let that property grow over time and rent has grown with it. By the way, the appreciation will also at least will have doubled in 15 years. Let's say the property is worth $250,000 today. In 50 years, with inflation, with everything going on, that property should worth at least $500,000. And that is how time and patience turn real estate into freedom that a lot of us badly desire. Now, let's talk about strategies that you can use to actually supercharge your rental property portfolio. Now, as you probably know, you don't need a new rental property to boost your monthly cash flow. Sometimes you just need the smart loan strategy or some creative way for you to just supercharge your monthly cash flow. The first lever or strategy you can pull is, let's say you have a property that is worth $500,000 and your loan amount is only $200,000. You can refinance when the interest rate drop. Let's say your interest rate is 6% and interest rate drop to 4.5%. Now you can refinance and free up that money there to go and buy another rental property. Or by simply refinancing, you are saving on interest. Instead of 6%, now you have a 4.5% interest rate and you are saving money on interest every single month. Now, it does not make sense to refinance if you're not going to be saving at least 1 point. So if your interest rate is 5.5 and the interest rate dropped to 4.8, it doesn't make sense to refinance because you want to save at least 1 point for it to actually make sense for you to go through the process of refinancing your loan to a new loan. So the second strategy you can also use to supercharge your monthly cash flow, if you so desire to do so, is what we call recast. Recast is when you dump a lump sum, let's say $50,000. Maybe you got a bonus from your job, or you use your tax return, or you got money from somewhere. You just dump that money into your mortgage. That would drastically now reduce your mortgage balance. But you know what? Your payment can now be recasted to reduce it. So let's say your mortgage payment is $3,500. Because you dumped that $50,000, now your mortgage will now be recasted, and it can bring you down from $3,500 to around $2,700 or $2,600, as the case may be, of course, depending on your interest rate. Now, this method allows you to still keep the same loan, the same interest rate, without going through the refinance process, and above all, it allows your monthly payment to be very low, which allows you to keep more money in your pocket. Unlike refinancing, recast also avoid a new loan, a new credit check, and all the closing costs that you'll have incurred if you are doing refinancing. So as you can see, debt can actually help you to supercharge your wealth, or it can drain your bank account and put you in a bad situation. So you have a lot of choice, but you have to start with one rental property for you to have something to leverage on. You can't leverage on anything if you have nothing. So that's why it's super important for you to buy your first rental property, and you can progress from there. I am currently building a growing community of like-minded people that are on the same path just like you, building wealth through rental property, and I invite you to join the community for free. You can find the invitation link in my description below. Now, all this strategy will not work for you if you did not buy the right property from day one. So it's very, very important you buy right. Too many investors chase high rent in a very bad area, bad neighborhood, and they underestimate maintenance, or they even underestimate the total cost and time of ownership for that particular property. So the key here is your buy box. You want to clearly define your buy box and make sure you stick to your buy box as much as possible. I will look for strong tenants base, manageable taxes and insurance costs, high construction, and good schools. I will also avoid flood zone at all costs if I'm with you and I'm just getting started. So pay attention to this and you will thank me later. Now, if your property eats all those things I mentioned above, congratulations. It's just a matter of time. You will start compounding your wealth from there. So here is the truth nobody is telling you. Cash flow starts really, really messy, as you can see, right? But with reserve, with smart portfolio scaling process and timing and grit, you have to have a lot of grit. It compounds into freedom and generational ATM and oil well on the long run. So real estate isn't a get rich quick kind of investing. It is get wealthy, steady, guarantee kind of investing. Now, if you want to see where Houston's next wave of rental growth is happening, I invite you to watch this video next, where I walk you through Houston's biggest mega project that is coming to Houston, already ongoing right now, and that will help you supercharge your rental portfolio investing this year. You're going to discover exactly where billions of dollars are being invested in the Houston area and how you can position yourself before the price rise or before you actually miss the buying opportunity. I am Wale Lawal, helping you to build wealth through rental property investing and doing it the smart way. So I want you to watch the next video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.